roll call, please.
Mr. Negrini?
Here.
Mr. Wolf?
Here.
9 present, 0 absent.
Thank you. Could I have everyone please rise for the posting of the colors?
Mark time, march. Detail, hold. Left, face. Sir, permission to post colors.
Please post the colors.
Post colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Order, arms. First colors, march. Right, face. Mark time, march. Forward, march.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Maravich.
Public to address the board. One is on agenda items, which is immediately before the agenda. Second is on non-agenda items, which is at the end of the meeting. It is a 3-minute opportunity. It is not question and answer, but pursuant to board policies, an opportunity for you to offer comment on matters that are or may come before the board.
We have a presentation tonight by the Wilson High School Literary Inc. magazine, and I think Mrs. Fishneck is here for that presentation.
Hello. Thank you for giving us your time tonight. You all have before you the Wilson Literary Magazine, Inc. Feel free to take a page through. Basically, when I started at Wilson, I came and we didn't have a literary magazine, so I gathered some students together, said, what do you think? And I think what they've done so far with this, and I really can't take much credit other than for just advising them, guiding them in some of their choices for decision making and things, is a fabulous demonstration of the literary and artistic talent of Wilson High School students. We have collected in this magazine the best of our poetry, short stories, personal essays. When we have submissions, we also include drama in here, as well as photography and artwork. We publish this twice a year. My editors, the two of them are sitting right here and are going to read a piece for you in a few minutes, have put in countless hours themselves. I believe, aside from all of the meetings and fundraisers and things that we've been doing, they've each put in at least 10+ hours just on the layout of each magazine, and we do 2 per year. Even the cover art is all done by students. So why I'm here today to address you is that we have so far been had the venture grant to help finance. The publication is expensive, especially because we aren't publishing in large quantities. And we like to publish in color. We like to publish with a nice binding as opposed to a staple binding. We are submitting to literary magazine contests and hoping to attain high honors in that, and I think they certainly deserve it because the work in here is very, very high quality. And along with that and some support from the high school administration, we've been able to publish thus far. But it's really important to us that we start to become a little bit more self-sufficient in terms of funds. And to do that, we need to reach out to you and to the community members in order to help us with sales. We are going to start going online with sales, and we have been doing coffee house fundraisers. We actually have one coming up in school. We do, during our Bulldog period, we do coffee house fundraisers where students read poetry, sing, and do other artistic expressions. And we are trying to host a night one. Actually, we'd like to do it in here once the artwork is along the walls. We did a night one last year. Community members came, and it was a very fun night where we had students who had signed up to perform their poetry, their short works, and some music, as well as students who, can I go up and do a rap, Mrs. Fishnick? Of course you can. And they did a fantastic job with that, and that helped raise some funds too. But we would love to have your help in getting this out to the community, because it is their children, their students, who are putting forth this beautiful book twice a year. And we'd really appreciate some support from you guys as well. Thank you. I'm going to invite one of my students to come up and read. I'm going to have Emily come up first. I think she's just going to read an excerpt from one of her pieces. I know you'll enjoy it. Thank you.
Hello, this is an excerpt from my piece, The Drive. Driving down the narrow street one night, I took notice of the lights around me, burning in uniform little strings, some flickering with a soft glow similar to that of fireflies. The lights were eyes watching me intently and reflecting off the windshield of my car. They sizzled in my vision and splattered distinctively over the car's navy blue painted hood. The spilled lights surrounded me and made night briefly turn into day. The car shuddered over another pothole, but the wheels clung steadfast to the road's lukewarm surface. The branches of the trees, which lined the street alongside the shops and the boutiques and the badly parallel parked cars, reached like thin, knobby fingers into the sky. I wondered if the claws were reaching for the wispy gray clouds or for something higher. The lights still remained loyal as ever. They dazzled my vision in the form of street lamps, a musty golden yellow, the taillights of the car in front of me, bold red bleeding with the condensation on my windshield, and the countless dots of brightness that crawled up the crumbling brick sides of buildings and painted the power lines with tiny glowing eyes. The saxophone from the radio was still murmuring into my ears as I reached the end of the road. I'd passed everything, the side street that led to the hospital where I was born, the daycare where I'd spent my earliest years, the diner where I had my first job, and then, at the end of the road and to the right, my family's home. My entire life was laid out in front of me, like words on a book page. My story was one that had been told to nobody. It was written out here on this road, but contained in a heart that was sitting on the highest shelf just out of reach. Even when the jazz song also came to an end, my fingers continued drumming on the wheel. My palms were slick with sweat. The car drifted for a moment as I lifted my foot off the gas and shifted it over to the brake. When I jerked to a halt, so did the entire world around me. The trees stopped swaying. The branches stopped reaching. The clouds stopped wandering the sky. The shops and boutiques became shuttered and dark, snapshots of something unwelcoming and foreboding. The frost stopped snaking up the cars around me because now everything was covered, pale, blue, and numb. I lifted my head and felt the ice reach my core. The lights stopped twinkling, and at the end of the road, I turned left instead of right. Thank you. And this is my co-editor, Maggie Foyt, with a poem of her own.
I'm going to be reading one of my poems titled True Strength. Superheroes don't give up. In tears prepared for the fall, they stand, iron-willed to fight. The demons of darkness and fear, they push with all their might until they go down with a hit. Battle after battle, and mind over body, they keep going, relentless. In the end, one rival does win, yet the heroes did stand tall against that adversary death, and with not a single tear, no, not even a single tear, the superheroes we love fade into legend. Thank you.
Thank you all for the presentation. Mrs. Fishnick, is this something that, if it were turned digitally, would be appropriate for the Bulldog Blast maybe to get that out to the community? Be a very cost-effective way to get it out? Or are you looking for an actual print version to get it out?
We have definitely talked about doing some online sales as well. We're looking into that right now.
Okay.
But we would love help in getting it out to the community too.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. We don't have to make an announcement. Okay. Are there any other communications? Okay. All right, moving along to 2.0. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes from April 3rd, 2018. Mr. Negrini, thank you. Second. Mrs. Cocker, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you, motion carries. Treasurer's report, Mr. Martin.
Mr. President, I submit for approval to the Board of Treasurer's report, investment report, a general fund report, and the capital reserve report.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. King? Yes. Mr. Ehrlich? Yes. Ms. Ellis? Yes. Mr. Hart? Yes. Mr. Martin? Yes. Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-0 against.
Thank you. Payment of bills, Mr. Martin.
Mr. President, I submit the payment tonight out of general fund, $2,432,634.46, and out of the capital reserve fund, $101,629.55.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Case. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis? Yes. Mr. Hart? Yes. Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Financial reports, Mr. Martin.
Mr. President, I submit tonight financial reports for March for the cafeteria, child care, Southern Middle School, Wilson West Middle School, and the senior high activity accounts.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Ellis? Yes. Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
6.1, looking for a motion to
Request permission to approve a trip to Chincoteague Bay Research Facility in Wallops Island, Virginia for 14 AP research and seminar students from the high school from April 13th through the 17th, 2018. 3 days out of school. Cost to students is $495. Cost to the district is one substitute teacher for 3 days. Students will be chaperoned by Mr. Doms, Mr. Sear, Mrs. Brock, and Mr. Yoder. 6.2, request permission to approve a trip to Teen Book Fest in Rochester, New York for 7 English students from the high school on May 18th and 19th, 2018, with 0 days out of school. Cost of students is $60. Cost of the district is $0. Students will be chaperoned by Mrs. Hershey and 2 other chaperones. Do I have a motion for those two? Mr. Case, thank you. Mr. Hart, second. This is a voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Dr. Fadley, Superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Wolf. It's my privilege this evening to present the superintendent's report, personnel, and program recommendations as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept this report? Mr. Hart, thank you. Mrs. Cocker, second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis? Yes. Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
Thank you. 8.1, looking for a motion to accept with gratitude the following donation from former board member Gary Collar, a check for $1,000 to be applied equally to the 5 elementary library budgets to be used at their discretion of the individual librarians for the educational benefit of their students. And B, from Wilson Water Polo Parents Organization, 4 new goal backs to Wilson Water Polo for the 2018 season. The estimated cost of the goal backings is $770. Do I have a motion for those 2 items? Mr. Martin, thank you. Ms. Ellis, second. Roll call, please.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
9.1, looking for a motion to request approval of the memorandum of agreement with the Wilson School District and the Wilson Education Association regarding Caitlin Morella. Do I have a motion for that? Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Second. Mr. Hart, thank you. Roll call, please.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker?
10.1, looking for a motion to request to agree to enroll a foreign exchange student, Anna Henk, grade 10, in the high school from Germany for the 2018-2019 school year. 10.2.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Wolf. We, actually, that's not the most up-to-date agenda. 10.2 was removed.
Oh, okay. All right, so we just have that one item. Okay. So do I?
10.3.
All right. Well, 10.3 is just to approve those two things, correct?
Yes, it would be correct.
All right, so we just need a motion for 10.1.
Now, there's two items. Yeah. 10.2 has been removed, so there are two items. 10.1 and 10.3, no?
No, 10.3 is just to approve 10.1 and 10.2 as presented.
Okay, I'm sorry. What I'm seeing up on the screen is different from what you're seeing. Okay. You can tell me what item you're reading. I'll adjust the screen. You only have one item.
Yeah, well, 10.1 was the foreign exchange student. 10.2 appears to be what? Yeah.
Got it. Sorry.
There are two items.
No.
Settlement agreement and release and the agreement to enroll. 10.1 and 2.
So the Talk Institute is supposed to be on there? Okay, all right, so this would be 10.2. Request permission to approve the adoption of a settlement agreement and release to pay the Talk Institute up to the amount of $76,491 for the 2018-2019 school year, so long as the student remains a resident of the district and the district is provided receipt of documentation of such costs to settle and compromise all claims raised by the parents of a special education student, and to authorize the board president and secretary to execute the agreement on behalf of the district. So that should be it then, under 10, right? Okay. So do I have a motion for those two items? Ms. Ellis, thank you. Mr. Hart, any discussion on either of those? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis? Yes. Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Ayes 4-0 again.
12.1, looking for a motion to approve, at the recommendation of the Facilities Committee, requesting to award the feasibility study of the district athletic fields to Crabtree, Lurabaugh and Associates, 401 East Winding Hill Road, Mechanical PA, at a fee not to exceed $3,000 plus reimbursable expenses. This study is being requested to ensure we are utilizing the district's playing fields in the most efficient manner for all sports. The study will also recommend possible improvements for future use. Do I have a motion for that? Mr. Negrini, Mr. Case, second. Any discussion? Mr. Negrini?
Mr. Wolf, as we had discussed in some prior meetings, spring sports and in particular baseball and softball, with the lingering effects of the winter season, it's becoming more and more difficult to get those teams out on the field, number one. And then secondly, we seem to have run out of space for the number of baseball and softball teams that the district offers an opportunity to play, yet field space is significantly limited as it currently stands. So based upon what has been discussed in part from an extracurricular standpoint, it is our hope that based upon this particular study and the way that the fields have been laid out, that perhaps we have a way to make sure that all of the teams have that ability to be out on a field and not seeking out alternative field placements for baseball and or softball. Years ago, we had contracted with the West Lawn Owls as a possibility of utilizing their field. It had become cost prohibitive to continue with that. So based upon this particular study, perhaps we will have some insight as to what can be done and, more importantly, how much it may cost in order to make those things occur. So that's why it's being recommended at this time.
Right. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, can we, I think we had a first and second. We have roll call for that one, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis? Yes. Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
13.1, request approval of the budget transfers dated March 15th, 2018 through April 11th, 2018. Do I have a motion for that? Mr. Martin, Mrs. Cocker, second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis? Yes. Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
14.1, looking for a motion to seek approval to pay Joel Dries for Q3 virtual driver's education according to the terms of the MOU in the amount of $3,050, which equates to one section at $1,000 base fee plus $50 per student times 41 students enrolled. Do I have a motion for that? Ms. Ellis, thank you. Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis? Yes. Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
Thank you. On to transportation, 15.1. Request the approval of a contract with Berks County Intermediate Union to transport one student from the home of the student to Devereaux Brandywine campus at the rate of $149.23 per day. The contract will end on June 30th, 2018. And 15.2, request the approval of an operating agreement with Conrad Weiser School District to provide transportation services of one student to and from Bucksmont School in Pottstown at a cost of $154.46 per day. The agreement will end on June 12th, 2018. Do I have a motion for those two? Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Second. Mr. Case. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Ms. Ellis? Yes. Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
9-4, 0 against.
Under policies 19, we could, unless anyone has objection, we could group 19.1 and 19.2 together for one roll call, unless someone has an objection. 19.1 would be request the board accept policies 113.3 and 113.4. And 19.2 is final reading and adoption of the following policies. 4.1, student representation to school board, and 719, use of unmanned aircraft drones. Do I have a motion for those two? Thank you, Mrs. Cocker. Second, Mr. Case. We have roll call on those two, please.
Ms. Ellis? Yes. Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Negrini?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Excuse me, yes.
19.4 is a no vote. Those are second readings and first readings. On to our committee reports, BCTC. Mr. Case.
BCTC has not met since our last board meeting, but the next meeting will be April 25th on Wednesday at the West Campus at 7 p.m.
Thank you. IU, Dr. Kennedy. Yes, please. Yep.
We have not met either of those committees since our last board meeting. It's a busy week this week. Tomorrow is the curriculum committee meeting at 4 o'clock in Dr. Amy Flannery's office. And the next IU board meeting is this Thursday at 5:30.
Okay, thank you. Berks EIT, Mrs. Schlossman, any update? Okay. me bring up my notes under extracurricular here. Just an update on our spring sports. Our baseball team is currently at 7-1. Boys lacrosse is 7-2. Girls lacrosse 9-1. Softball 2-7. Boys tennis 10-3. Boys volleyball 1-5. And both the boys and girls track and field teams are both 4-0. That concludes extracurricular facilities. Mr. Negrini.
Our last meeting was on Monday, April 9th. One of the items discussed was voted on earlier this evening. The other big topic of our meeting was the potential remodeling of the administration lobby. That was listed on the capital project list for, I believe, 1920. However, we were looking at the possibility of moving that up for the 18-19 school year to be completed. One of the reasons being both the business office and pupil services utilizes the lobby area. However, the way it is currently set up right now doesn't allow for, I believe, pupil services' best use of their time and space. So it's going to require some moving around of offices first and foremost, but there was also talk about making that lobby area much more user-friendly in order to have meetings with pupil services scheduled. Oftentimes things can be done ahead of time. So there was some discussion about providing 1 or 2 kiosks out front in order for many of those things to be done in preparation for those future meetings with pupil services. Because this is a little bit more, I suppose, entailed as far as a renovation than had been originally planned by operations, we're going to look into having an engineering firm look at how that can be accomplished, and obviously, more importantly, how much that may cost in terms of what is being suggested by both the business office and pupil services. So we should be getting back some information from the firm that will give us some costs, give us some time upon which it would require for that particular area to be renovated if it is recommended by the facilities committee. But most importantly, we would be looking to do that after the start of the school year. It is the summertime that lobby is utilized the most by family and community members, as well as I suppose, a holding area. I believe that's probably not a great use of terms for people that are interviewing for jobs here in the Wilson District. So because we wanted to get through that busy time, that's why it's being suggested that perhaps in the fall of 2018 that project be completed. So we'll get back some more information on that at our next meeting. And that's my report.
Thank you. Finance, Mr. Ehrlich.
Next meeting is May 7th. No other report.
Okay. HR, Mr. Hart, happy to have you back. I said happy to have you back.
Oh, thanks. It's good to be back. Our next meeting is Wednesday, May 9th at noon.
Okay. Legislative, Mr. Martin.
Not much happening. By the time we have our next board meeting, we should know a lot more about the budget.
Ms. Troutman, you want to do PR and the Ed Foundation?
I will do that. First of all, I'd like to share some Wilson good news. We want to extend congratulations to the Wilson High School Jazz Band for taking the overall Outstanding Band Award, which was the top honor of the night at the inaugural Get Jazzed event. The overall Outstanding Soloist Award went to tenor saxophonist Shashank Sridhar, who is a junior here at Wilson. Jeffrey Dalton won Outstanding Soloist for his drum solo, and the saxophone section got top honors for top saxophone section during the event. So another great job by our Wilson Jazz Band. We want to also congratulate Shiloh Hills teacher Karen Moreland for being a finalist for the Annie Sullivan Award. The Annie Sullivan Award program recognizes individuals in Berks County who encourage the understanding and promotion of students with disabilities in their school or community. And Karen was honored at a reception at the Berks County Intermediate Unit main office. And again, we are very proud of Karen for her incredible efforts. And finally, we want to congratulate Wilson West students Katie Dallas, Madeline Green, Jacob Hofford, and Aiden Hunter on having their videos selected to advance to the Pennsylvania State What's So Cool About Manufacturing Awards on May 2nd at the Forum Auditorium in Harrisburg. And we did share their video via social media, so if you didn't get a chance to watch it, check out the district social media pages and you can view their video that's moving on to the states. Under public information, spring is here, I think, but maybe not because it doesn't feel like spring, but according to the calendar it is, and it's spring concert season, and we're excited for our students to share all their musical talents with our community. So our full list of spring concerts is available on the website, and we have been promoting that heavily through district communications channels, so I'm hoping everyone here is able to come out and support our amazing music students during their spring concert season. And just a reminder that the Wilson School District Gifted Education Program is hosting the 4th annual You Can Do the Rubik's Cube competition. I think all of the board remembers those amazing students that were here a couple of weeks ago. The competition will be held on Wednesday, May 2nd from 6 to 8 at the West Cafeteria. So again, you are all welcome to attend that. And then just a nice story ran in the Reading Eagle this past Friday about our Building Bulldogs program. The article captured the last night of the program. We had a Reading Eagle reporter who came for a good portion of the night. And that program was designed to help prepare 4- and 5-year-olds who are going to be attending kindergarten at Wilson in the fall. So it was great to see that article in the paper. And again, a huge thank you to the teachers, administrators, and the staff who made this just a wonderful program for our incoming kindergarten students and their families. And I'll offer the Education Foundation report. Exciting night tonight. We are very excited to announce that Molly Mack has joined the foundation as our new executive director. Molly has extensive experience in nonprofit leadership and will bring her excellent fundraising, donor relation, and volunteer management skills to her new role. Molly previously served as the program coordinator at Spring Ridge Elementary School, and she also served for years as president of the PTO for both Spring Ridge and Wilson West. And Molly is here tonight, so Molly, if you could stand.
Please stand.
Stand, please, and be recognized. Molly. This is a huge, huge addition to the Wilson Education Foundation. Molly is going to do a great job. She actually, her first day, she started last week. She and I attended a statewide conference where she had an opportunity to meet with other executive directors of education foundations. So we're excited to have Molly join our organization. And just to note that the Wilson Education Foundation is pleased to partner again this summer with the Sinking Spring Borough for Bulldog Summer Blast. This is a program that's a 6-week learning program taught by Wilson teachers to help foster learning throughout the summer months. Bulldog Summer Blast is open to Wilson students who completed kindergarten through 3rd grade and is designed to help diminish the summer slide and offer continued academic opportunities while being outside. So registration is open and has been promoted through district-wide communication, so again, something for us to be sharing with all of our community members. The foundation provides a $15,000 grant for Bulldog Summer Blast, which allows us to keep the program fees lower and also to provide some full scholarships for deserving students. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. Mrs. Mack, did you have anything prepared you wanted to say, or you're good? You'll hit us up for money later, right? No, we're thrilled to have someone who loves and knows the community leading that organization, so thank you. Technology, Mrs. Cocker.
We have not had a meeting since our last board meeting, but our next meeting is Monday, June 4th.
Okay, thank you. Sophia is not here tonight. I did not get a report emailed, so no report from her. Mr. Maravich, solicitor.
No report.
Okay. Do we have any public participation on non-agenda items? Okay. Any other business? I just wanted to acknowledge we have a group of young men back here from the Boy Scouts. If you're here to get a badge tonight, stand up for us, please. Great. Now, are any of you brave enough to come up and explain what the badge is for, that you're here for?
That's your badge.
Who wants to say it? You can say it from there if you want. You can check your notes. He's checking his notes. Great. You did a great job. Thank you. Thanks again for being here. And you should also get a sitting through a boring meeting badge as well. All right. If nothing else, looking for a motion to adjourn. Mr. Hart, second. Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Meeting adjourned.